All right, so you're getting ready for a precision instrument assembler interview.
Yeah,
Congrats. That's a pretty cool field.
definitely is.
We've got all your roll catcher resources right here, from career guides to interview prep, even some AI tricks.
Oh, very cool.
Let's break it down so you can walk into that interview
Okay.
feeling totally confident.
I love that.
What do you think?
It's amazing how much insight Rollcatcher packs in.
Yeah.
We can cover not just what they'll ask, but
Right.
what this job really entails, and even how to use their AI to tailor your answers for specific roles.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So first things first,
Okay.
let's paint a picture of the job itself.
Sure.
What does a precision instrument assembler actually do all day?
You're not just slapping parts together, you're
Yeah.
building incredibly sensitive instruments.
Ah,
Things like micrometers, gauges, even the thermostat on your wall.
wow.
These demand crazy accuracy.
Okay.
So you're working with blueprints, specialized tools. Think of it like high-tech 3D puzzles.
Yeah.
But with real-world consequences if a piece is off.
Right.
Ugh,
Okay, so attention to detail is key here.
big time.
But where are you actually doing all this intricate work?
Typically, it's in manufacturing plants or factories,
Okay.
sometimes even clean rooms.
Oh, wow.
Picture a pristine environment, everything spotless to prevent contamination of the instruments. You're likely on your feet a lot dealing with small parts.
Okay.
And it can get a bit noisy,
Oh.
but hey, you're in a hands-on work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of hands-on,
Okay.
let's dive into some of those tricky interview questions.
right.
Roll catcher flag.
Yeah,
I know you like to be well prepared.
I do.
So let's start with this one.
Okay.
Tell us about your experience with precision instruments.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
This is your chance to show them you're not just a newbie.
Oh.
Don't just say, I've assembled stuff.
Right.
Get specific. What projects have you worked on? What tools did you master? Did you have any specialized training?
Okay.
The interviewer wants to see you're already comfortable in this world.
So instead of saying, I've built some gadgets before,
All right.
I should be dropping phrases like,
Yeah.
I've spent 2 years calibrating pressure gauges
Uh-huh.
and am proficient with optical comparators.
Exactly. Paint a picture with your words.
Yeah.
Show them, your stuff.
Okay.
Now, here's where Rollcatcher's AI comes in handy.
Oh.
It can actually analyze job descriptions.
Really?
And tell you which keywords and skills to emphasize in your answers.
Wow.
Pretty slick, right?
It's like having a personal interview coach in my pocket.
Totally is.
But even with the right words,
Yeah.
sometimes I get flustered.
I get that.
What about those follow-up questions they throw your way?
Oh, yeah.
Say they dig deeper and ask,
Yeah.
what's the most complex instrument you've assembled, and what challenges did you face?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
This is where you showcase not just your skills, but your problem-solving abilities.
Okay.
Think back to a project that really tested you.
Yeah.
What made it complex?
Okay.
What specific obstacles did you overcome?
Right.
Did you have to troubleshoot, improvise, or learn a new technique?
So I should be ready to explain not just what I did,
Yeah.
but how I tackled those uh-oh moments.
Precisely. And remember, details are your friend.
Okay.
Did you have to use a specific tool?
Yeah.
Interpret a tricky blueprint?
Right.
Or collaborate with others to find a solution?
Hmm.
Paint a vivid picture for them?
Okay.
Show off that you're a thinker, not just a doer.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tackle another question.
Okay.
Roll catcher highlighted.
All right.
How do you ensure accuracy when assembling?
Mm-hmm.
This one seems pretty straightforward,
Oh, okay.
but I bet there's more to it than saying, I'm really careful.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
They're looking for a methodical approach,
Okay.
not just a hope for the best attitude.
Right.
Describe your process.
Yeah.
Do you double-check measurements? Use specific tools for calibration?
Okay.
Maybe even mention a time you caught a potential error before it became a problem?
So instead of just saying, I pay attention,
Right.
I could say something like,
Yeah.
I always follow a checklist,
Mm.
double check my measurements using a digital micrometer.
Okay.
And if anything seems off,
Mm-hmm.
I consult the assembly manual and if needed, flag it for a senior technician.
No, you're talking. You're highlighting your process.
Yeah.
Showing you're not just precise, but proactive about preventing mistakes.
Okay.
And guess what? Rollcatcher's AI can actually give you feedback on your practice answers,
Okay.
helping you refine your wording and hit those key points.
Okay, this AI is starting to sound like a secret weapon.
It kinda is.
But let's be real. Sometimes even with the best intentions, things go wrong.
They do.
What if they ask, Describe a time you had to troubleshoot a precision instrument assembly.
Oh,
Yeah.
the dreaded troubleshooting question.
All right.
Don't panic. Have a specific example ready,
Okay.
even if it seems minor. What was the issue?
Right.
How did you diagnose it? What tools or techniques did you use to fix it?
Okay.
This is where you shine as a problem solver.
So instead of saying, I just kept fiddling with it, I could say something like,
Yeah.
once a pressure gauge wasn't giving consistent readings,
Okay.
I used a multimeter to test the circuit, isolated a faulty connection,
Yeah.
and resoldered it, which solved the problem.
Now, that's a great example.
Okay.
You've shown you can identify the problem,
Right.
use the right tools,
Yeah.
and ultimately get the job done.
Okay.
This is crucial because in this field, troubleshooting is a vital skill.
I'm feeling much more confident about tackling those questions.
Good.
But before we move on to more interview prep,
Okay.
I'm curious about something.
Yeah, what's up? Well, we've talked about specific instruments and troubleshooting,
Right.
but what about the bigger picture?
Yeah.
Rollcatcher mentioned automation being a big trend in this field.
Okay.
Should I be worried about robots taking over my job?
Yeah. That's a good question.
It's a valid concern and something a lot of people are thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Automation is actually creating more demand for skilled assemblers,
Really?
not less.
How so?
Think about it. Someone needs to program, maintain,
Right.
and oversee those robots.
Yeah.
And as technology advances, companies need people who can work alongside these machines and ensuring everything runs smoothly and precisely. Those robots aren't making themselves,
That's a good point.
Yeah,
So instead of fearing automation, I should highlight my adaptability
absolutely.
and willingness to learn new tech.
Exactly. Show them your forward thinking.
Okay.
Eager to embrace new tools and techniques. This is especially important when answering the question,
Right.
how do you stay up to date with the latest techniques and technologies?
Okay. So mentioning my personal projects with microcontrollers
Yeah.
might not be enough. What else should I highlight?
Think about industry publications you follow,
Okay.
online courses you've taken, even conferences you'd like to attend. Anything that shows you're actively seeking knowledge
Right.
and staying ahead of the curve.
So I could mention I'm a regular reader of Precision Engineering Today,
Perfect.
have taken online courses on laser welding, and am interested in attending the International Manufacturing Technology Show.
Yeah, perfect. You're demonstrating a genuine interest in the field
Okay.
and commitment to continuous learning.
Right.
It's a good idea to even have a few specific advancements you've been reading about
Okay.
ready to discuss.
Got it. Now let's get back to those interview questions.
Okay.
Rollcatcher mentions that teamwork is a big part of this job.
It is.
How should I approach the question?
All right.
Can you tell us about a time when you had to work collaboratively with others
Okay.
to assemble a precision instrument?
Ugh, the teamwork question.
Yeah,
Everyone's favorite, right?
it's a classic.
Remember, they're not expecting you to say you've never had a disagreement
Right.
or challenge.
Mm-hmm.
What they want to see is how you navigate those bumps in the road.
Okay.
Yeah,
So should I focus on a time when I had to compromise,
sure.
communicate effectively,
Uh-huh.
or maybe learn something from a teammate?
Absolutely. Maybe you had to adjust your approach
Right.
based on someone else's expertise.
Right.
Or you helped a teammate troubleshoot a tricky problem.
Yeah.
Show them you're a team player who can contribute to a shared goal.
Right. It's not just about getting along. It's about working together effectively.
Exactly.
What about those times when things don't go exactly according to plan?
Yeah.
What if they ask,
Okay.
can you tell us about a time when you had to modify a precision instrument assembly
Okay.
to meet specific requirements?
This one's all about adaptability.
Right.
Even if you're following a set process,
Right.
there are times when you need to think on your feet. Maybe a client has a unique request,
Okay.
or you discover a more efficient way to do something.
To be honest, I can't think of a time I had to completely redesign something.
Right.
What if my experience is more about making small adjustments
Yeah.
or suggesting improvements?
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
The key is to show you're not afraid to deviate from the norm when necessary.
Right.
Did you ever catch a potential error in a blueprint?
Yeah.
Suggest a change that improved accuracy or efficiency?
Okay.
Even those seemingly small things demonstrate your problem-solving skills.
Okay. That makes me feel better. I'm starting to see how each of these questions
Yeah,
is really testing for a specific set of skills.
right.
But let's be real, this kind of work can be dangerous if you're not careful.
It can be.
What if they ask, how do you ensure the safety of yourself and others when assembling precision instruments?
Safety is paramount in any hands-on field.
Right.
This isn't just about wearing your safety goggles. It's about demonstrating a proactive mindset. Talk about your commitment to following protocols. Double-checking tools and equipment, and maintaining a clean and organized workspace.
So I should mention things like wearing appropriate PPE, inspecting tools for damage, and keeping my work area free of clutter to prevent accidents.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention any safety training you've received. Your familiarity with OSHA regulations, or even experiences conducting safety audits.
This is all super helpful.
Good.
I'm definitely starting to feel more prepared for this interview.
Great.
But there's one more thing I'm curious about.
Yeah, what's that?
We've covered a lot of ground on the technical skills and safety aspects. But Rollcatcher also emphasizes the importance of soft skills.
Oh, definitely.
Particularly communication. What if they ask, describe a situation where you had to explain a complex assembly process to someone with limited technical knowledge?
This question tests your ability to communicate clearly and effectively. Even when dealing with complex technical concepts, think about a time when you had to break down a technical process for someone who wasn't familiar with the field. Maybe you were training a new colleague, explaining something to a client, or even helping a friend with a DIY project.
So it's not just about knowing the jargon. It's about being able to translate that knowledge into plain language that anyone can understand.
Did you use analogies? Visual aids. Simple step-by-step instructions. Highlight the techniques you use to make the complex understandable. This demonstrates your ability to communicate effectively with a diverse range of people, which is a valuable asset in any workplace.
That makes sense. Now, we've talked a lot about what to say in the interview. But what are the things I shouldn't say?
Oh, that's a good question.
Are there any red flags I should avoid?
One thing to avoid is speaking negatively about previous employers or colleagues. Even if you had a bad experience. Focus on the positive takeaways and what you learned from the situation.
So instead of saying, my last boss was a micromanaging nightmare, I could say something like, I learned a lot about the importance of clear communication and setting realistic expectations from that experience.
Turn those negatives into positives. Also avoid vague answers or overly generic statements. Remember, specific examples and anecdotes are your best friend.
Right, show, don't tell.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to circle back to Rollcatcher's AI tools one last time. We've talked about how they can help tailor my answers. But is there anything else they can do to boost my confidence going into the interview?
Here's where it gets really interesting. Rollcatcher's AI can actually simulate a mock interview.
Really?
Providing you with feedback on your delivery pacing. And even your body language.
Like, seriously? It's like having a virtual interview coach right in my pocket.
Totally.
That's amazing.
And don't forget, their AI can analyze job descriptions and suggest relevant keywords to sprinkle throughout your answers. Think of it as speaking the AI's language to make sure your application gets noticed.
This deep dive has been incredibly helpful. I'm walking away feeling much more prepared.
That's great.
And honestly, even a little bit excited about the interview process.
Yes, I love to hear that.
You got it. And for all our listeners out there, remember that precision instrument assembly is a field with a bright future. As technology continues to advance, the demand for skilled assemblers will only grow. Keep learning. Stay curious. And you'll be well positioned for success in this exciting and evolving field. Good luck.
Good luck.